Are you struggling with hair loss? Well, before you give up and start rocking that bald look, get yourself a box of Novaxidil. It's the only clinically proven triple action hair loss treatment on the market. It has 5% minoxidil, which is the gold standard for regrowth. But minoxidil alone will not prevent further loss. For that, Novaxidil uses DHT blocker ketoconazole with added nicotinamide, vitamin K, biotin, and collagen peptides. Basically, every single ingredient you could possibly think of in one product. So stop rubbing peppermint oil behind your ears and get something that works. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Novaxidil.
New Jersey.
Okay.
And my father was closely related to the Jewish bosses.
Mhm.
Then eventually to the boss of the Genovese crime family, who was the partner with my father and Abe Green in a business called Runyon Sales Company, which dealt in jukeboxes, vending, amusements, gaming, and so forth. They went on to go ahead and manufacture. They bought the Valley Manufacturing Company. But so I'm second generation, and I really know my history because I was born into it. So
now, when you say, I apologize, when you say the boss of the Genovese crime family, are you speaking about Vito Genovese himself, or the Chin, or Fat Tony?
Very interesting. Your questions are good. Did you ever hear of Jerry Katina?
Well, he was in Jersey, right?
Jerry, but he was the boss.
Right.
After Genovese, they split the leadership between Jerry Katina and Tommy Ryan Eberly.
Okay.
Jerry Katina was Jersey. Tommy Eberly took New York.
Okay.
Tommy Eberly was killed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the best way to describe it is that Jerry Katina was an unwilling choice, an unwilling. He was not willing. I want to think of the right word. He was reticent. He was hesitant. He didn't want to accept the leadership, but he was that spectacular. He was that beyond words, and he was probably the most understated boss of any crew that ever existed.
Okay.
And I'll explain that. I can go further as to why I say what he did. He was a combination of a mob boss and a brilliant businessman and remarkable human contacts.
Okay.
Meyer Lansky, of course, was the boss of the Jews, together with Abner Longies Willman. Abner Longies Willman, together with Joe Doc Stature, were the bosses of Jersey. Waxed very wealthy during the period of Prohibition. Abner Longies Willman was known as the Al Capone of Jersey.
Okay.
Since the alcohol, much of the alcohol that came into the United States came in through the ports of Newark and Perth Amboy and the East Coast.
Okay.
And he held sway over that, together with Doc Stature. Meyer Lansky, of course, was together with Benny Siegel, and he received the scepter of power of the Jews. He learned it from somebody by the name of Arnold Rothstein, who was known as the Brain. And he was the original New York bootlegger, the boss of not only the Jews. I would say that he was the mentor of both the Jews and the Italians. Arnold Rothstein was known to have fixed the 1919 Chicago Black Sox scandal, the World Series.
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
And that's right. And so
Beer League Warriors apparel. Great clothing for the gym. Great clothing for any workout you do. It's that dry fit that everybody likes. Good quality, great prices. Support small business now. Don't buy from Nike or Adidas this week. Get your clothing from Beer League Warriors apparel. Just go to beerleaguewarriors.com. They have a great selection. Believe me, you won't be disappointed.
Arnold Rothstein passed on all of his knowledge and his wisdom to Meyer and to Lucky Luciano. And, well, the history, of course, is that together, Lucky Luciano, who saw that cooperation surpassed competition, understood that in order for the emergence of the modern mob, there was a need to get rid of the two old mustache Petes,
Right.
Joe the Boss Masseria and Salvatore Maranzano.
Mhm.
1 second, something.
Go right ahead.
Okay, let me just. So Salvatore, so they did get rid of them. Bugsy Siegel participated in the killing of both Joe the Boss Masseria, and there were 4 Jews that were picked by Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky to get rid of Salvatore Maranzano.
Mm.
So upon the elimination of the old mustache Petes, there was the formation of the modern mob. And I think that's basically the history in brief as to the cooperation between Jews and Italians. Lucky Luciano did not suffer the xenophobia of the old bosses, who were so xenophobic that if you didn't come from Castelmamare in Sicily, you were subject to suspicion. The closer that you came, first of all, you had to come from Sicily, not even from Napoli, not from Apulia, not from Calabria, not from Bari. You had to come from Sicily. And the closer that you came from that little village of Castelmamare, where these two came from, you could be more, I don't want to say that you were more trusted. I think that you were less subject to suspicion because of course, in that world, you live by paranoia.
Okay. So I love the history.
Getting back to Jerry Cattina. Jerry Cattina was tutored, and he was the bridge in Newark between the Jews and the Italians, between Abnologi's woman, Doc Stature, and between the Italian boss, who at that time was somebody by the name of Richie the Boot, Boiardo, major bootlegger. And there was hostility, major hostility between the Longhi and the Boot, and the Longhi commissioned the hit team to go kill the Boot. The Boot reciprocated. They both survived. Ultimately, the story was that Al Capone came from Chicago or sent in a delegate or a representative, I think his brother, to make a peace agreement between the Jews and the Italians. This was 1930-31. And it was the feature article, front page of the Newark Star Ledger, that peace was agreed upon between the Longhi and between the Boot. So that's the history. Jerry Cattina surfaces. Now, the reason I tell you, John, that he was exceptional is he had remarkable contacts. He had great relationship with Meyer Lansky. He had a great relationship with Abner Longhi's Wellman. He had a great relationship, of course, with all the Italians. He was Vito Genovese's consigliere, and he was an unwilling boss. He didn't really want the limelight.
All my European bodybuilders, this is a great supplement line, AmericanSups.com. That's American-SUPPS.com. They have a great lineup. Believe me, you won't be disappointed. Go to their website, use discount code SAS10. They have an extensive line of supplements and workout gear. SAS10, AmericanSups.com. You will not be disappointed.